history are when reality itself cracks, where science and nightmare intertwine. The story I'm about to tell is, according to the U.S. Navy, a science fiction fantasy. According to official records, deck logs, and bureaucratic reports, it never happened. Lieutenant Edward Cameron, born in 1916, was a U.S. Navy officer serving as a communications officer aboard the USS Eldridge. Disciplined and inquisitive, Cameron stood out as a central figure, observing the events from the ship's bridge during the experiment. Years later, he re-emerged under the name Al Bielek, claiming to have traveled through time and revealing the mysterious dimensions of the experiment to the world. Captain Paul Valentine, born in 1908, was the commander of the USS Eldridge. Calm and command-driven, Valentine played a critical role in overseeing the experiment. He was the authority figure who determined the course of events and the fate of the crew. The young and curious radio operator Tommy Harris was born in 1924. During the experiment, he provided critical information by monitoring the ship's signals and frequencies. Chief Engineer Frank Gibbons, born in 1912, was responsible for the ship's engine room. In charge of the generators and energy systems, Gibbons witnessed the most striking events during the experiment. He was a prominent figure in scenes of metal screaming in agony and physical deformation on the ship. Dr. William Reinhardt, born in 1910, was a theoretical physics consultant. Overseeing the scientific aspect of the experiment, Reinhardt applied his theories to control invisibility and electromagnetic field manipulation. He embodied the experiment's scientific brilliance as well as its dangerous nature. Carl Allen, Carlos Allende, born in 1925, was a sailor and witness. He claimed to have witnessed the sudden disappearance of the USS Eldridge while serving on the SS Andrew Furuseth. As the first narrator of the experiment, he contributed to the spread of the legend and became the primary witness to the story. Morris K. Jessup was a researcher and author born in 1900. He received and evaluated Carl Allen's letters and, due to his interest in UFOs and secret projects, pioneered the documentation of the story and the emergence of its conspiracy theory dimension. October 28, 1943, 5:14 p.m. Communications Officer Lieutenant Cameron was struggling to breathe on the bridge. The air was cold, but the energy pumping through the ship made even the iron sweat. Their task was simple: use Einstein's as yet unproven theories to make a destroyer invisible on radar. But there was more in the air than that. That primal sense that something was going horribly wrong. It was exactly 5:15 p.m. when the order came. The generators are on. First came the sound, a deep rumble that penetrated your bones and made your teeth ache. Then the smell, burning ozone and an indescribable, pungent odor, as if seeping in from another dimension. From beneath the deck rose the agonized screech of 3006L6 vacuum tubes, the heart of the experiment. And then the light outside changed. A sickening, deadly green-blue glow, unrelated to the sunset, began to envelop the ship like a shroud. And then nothingness. The roar and screams gave way to a sickening sense of falling. They weren't swaying. They were falling. It was as if the foundation of the universe had been pulled out from under their feet. When the green mist cleared, the helmsman's trembling voice broke the silence. The harbor. No shipyard. They were 600 kilometers away, Norfolk, Virginia. Within seconds, they had succeeded, but they had no time to shout victory. As Norfolk Harbor closed in like a television screen, the green mist returned, this time more voraciously. When the ship slammed into its berth in Philadelphia like a sledgehammer, the air no longer smelled only of ozone. It smelled of burnt flesh. All stations report status. The captain's voice echoed in the void. Cameron turned to the radio operator. Send a signal to headquarters now. There was no response. He touched the young man's shoulder. Son, didn't you hear me? The radio operator was motionless. The man's left hand had melted into the steel console up to his elbow. Flesh and metal had fused together at a molecular level, irreversibly. When Cameron threw himself outside, he felt the boundaries of his mind dissolving and flowing away. Reality had warped. A sailor's lower half was trapped inside the steel deck, screaming. The one beside him, oh my God, the one beside him was standing, but his skin was inside, his muscles and veins outside. Cameron ran toward the engine room. In the corridor, he saw two engineers, but they weren't moving. Horrified, he reached out to touch the one in front on the shoulder. For a moment, they became transparent, and then vanished with a crackling static. All that remained was a lingering smell of burnt ozone hanging in the air. The experiment had shattered time. Some had vanished forever into those cracks. Some survived the experiment. The Navy called them shocked and tried to cover up the incident by committing them to a mental hospital. The story didn't end in 1943. Hal Bielek came forward. He claimed his real name was Edward Cameron, the protagonist of our story, and that he had jumped from the ship during the experiment, traveling through time to the Montauk base in the 1980s. Perhaps the Navy isn't lying. Perhaps the USS Eldridge really was safely anchored in New York that day. But this raises an even more terrifying question. If this story is entirely fabricated, how could such specific, grotesque images that appeal to the deepest fears of the human soul have come from the mind of a single person?